Previously in X-Men. After saving the world from the brink of chaos and the world believing them dead, the team has been given the chance to begin anew. To strike at the shadow. To strike at their enemies from the shadows. I am Jason Lapidus.
I'm Chris Hannigan.
And we are Group of Seven Comics. Welcome to episode 165 of our ongoing live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic as we read Uncanny X-Men 229 by Chris Claremont, Marc Silvestri, Dan Green, cover date of May 1988. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hey, it's a different day today. There's light outside. You can see out there. So little changing things up tonight.
You and I, you know what it is? The truth of the matter is we had such a good hang yesterday that I needed to do this right away to continue on those vibes from our good hangout. So, surprise episode on a Sunday night. It suits our schedule better. And we just pulled this together, decided to do this last minute kind of thing this afternoon. So I'm happy we get to do this on a Sunday night. It's also, your family is getting a little older. Your kids have gotten a little older in the year since we started this show. And they kind of, they kind of manage themselves a little more self-sufficiently in the evening times. The same with mine. So once in a while, a little flexibility rears its beautiful head. And we're able to do this on a Sunday night instead of Tuesday night. But we're also in that weird X-Men time. For those who've been watching every episode, you might have noticed I did the exact same intro as I did for the last episode 164, because it's the same moment in time. There isn't a difference. What happened just before this, of course, is the X-Men have been given a second chance by the goddess Roma, and they're able to now kind of do what they want, and they said there won't be the world thinks they're dead, so they have a chance to, who knows, do whatever. We're gonna see what they do with this second chance they've been given. Right now they're posing in a very Frank Frazetta-esque triangle composition in front of a nice big moon or sun, and Colossus stopped wearing a costume a long time ago.
He doesn't need one.
Yeah, it's funny. Since Silvestri has drawn his return, Colossus has not worn his classic X-Men costume with the crazy Dave Cockrum pointed shoulders, yellow down the middle of that red top, and knee-high boots with a giant cuff. He's just going around in his tighty whities or whatever the colorist decides to do.
Steel. They're also steel.
He's living organic steel. Yeah,
nice.
But this was it's a fun cover. I'm a big fan of this one. And it's good times.
It is a fun cover.
Everything else is good with you?
Yeah, everything else is good with me. I was going to say, again, because I come into these cold every week, I have not read ahead. I have not previously read these comics, so I thought this was a totally fun cover. When I flicked it open on the old PDF, I thought, this is fun.
Yeah, it's neat. And for those of you new to the show, Chris is reading these, as we will present shortly, reading them on PDF, on a DVD-ROM, and they are scans of the original pages of the printed comic. So like the version I have in front of me, which is printed on newsprint back from 1988, this actually came out in January of 88, even though it says it's May. Reading it on newsprint was what the creators were expecting. So the colors sit, even at full saturation, the colors sit in a certain way that pros like Glynis Oliver, can predict, and as well inkers like Dan Green knows how far apart to put his lines, because he knows it's going to be printed at a particular level of sophistication and accuracy that if you put your lines too close together, they just turn into mush. So he spaces them out beautifully. He's a very, very skilled and experienced inker. So getting to see him do that over some increasingly energetic Marc Silvestri pencils is going to be a joy for us. But I love seeing this stuff on newsprint, as you will see. Whoa! Glynis Oliver is just such a skilled nature colorist, too. I love all of her natural her scenes, like her skylines and such. Last week I did an episode solo where it was Wolverine in Marvel Comics Presents, and I know I had mentioned to you about doing Wolverine #1.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I just do Wolverine #1? I know you're not available, blah 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 blah. And you're like, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And I went and didn't do that. I did Marvel Comics Presents #1, 2, and 3. Each of them having 8 pages to devote to the ongoing Wolverine narrative. But the reason I did that is because once I looked into the release dates, I realized that Marvel Comics Presents came out first by about 8 weeks. Not a lot. And it seemed really, really weird. And I realized it was the same creative team, essentially, telling the same story, but it sort of starts in Marvel Comics Presents, then moves over to Wolverine. And I was kind of curious about that. So I did that one last week, and man, I missed you. Missed you. Not just your amazing, man musk of a presence.
Yeah.
Having someone else read with me, I mean, man, you add a real certain something. And that's something I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. It's much more fun doing this with you than doing it alone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I got a lot of comments being like, hey, why isn't Chris here? Have you finally fired him? He finally realized he can go on to bigger and better things. He's gone on another show.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of that, but yeah, anyway. Also, yesterday we got to hang out with a couple of friends of the show, Scott Chandler. Mm-hmm. We got to see him in good old Guelph, Ontario, and friend of the show, Jason Lowe.
Yep.
And that was neat to do, hang with those guys. Was anyone else there, a guest on the show at some point?
An almost guest.
Yeah, an almost guest, but I'm still gonna. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't hold out for that one anymore. It doesn't seem like, I don't know. I don't think that's going to come together. We should just
anybody
do
else?
that.
I think that was it.
And of course, we saw Massimo yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Who normally joins us in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, a regular watcher of the show and participant in the chat.
That was a really funny kid, too.
Yeah, he's got a great kid.
Really, really sharp, funny kid.
Let's say hey to Michael and Jason in the chat. Hope you guys are both doing well on this lovely Sunday night. It was a beautiful day here in Toronto, and I hope it's a beautiful day for everyone everywhere. Mm-hmm. Of course. Plug in a couple events. I know on Saturday we are going to be at the Towing Around Toy Con in Thornhill, Ontario. It's just the north end of Toronto. It's Saturday, May 3rd from 11 to 4 at the Thornhill Community Center. We're going to be there selling our comics as well as action figures. Should be a ton of fun. So that's, and then later on in the month we'll be over in Montreal, which is a total joy as well. And then the next month we'll be at TCAF, Toronto Comic Arts Festival. I'm moving away from that. Let's add this. Let's remove that. Not in that order.
Woo.
Yeah. You like that cover?
I do. I really do. It's
that one guy looking back that just sells it.
Yeah, and it feels like, I mean, if you're going to introduce a new era or whatever however you want to position this.
Sure.
Great way to do it. Like different than what I'd seen before, right? Like, I've seen it looks different. There's an aggression there that I don't think we've seen much on covers. Clearly fighting robot guys, down with that, right? Colossus is there back. He's just giving it. We see Storm with powers for the first time on a cover.
No, there was one where she's flying
there was one out, right? But I mean, in combat,
but that was more representational.
Yeah, like in combat, right? And it's just so you're, this is like a if you pick this was a #1. You saw this on. If you saw this on the newsstand, it had just #1. It could be a #1 in terms of just it's giving you enough to open that book and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, this could be new X-Men #1,
right?
Know? And they just even from the cover, it looks like they are a tactical team fighting post-apocalyptic. Like this is a whole new thing. And I'm not saying that as a good or bad. I'm trying to be kind of value free and let it go where it goes. We've got an energetic young penciler in Silvestri, and he's giving us like skull tattoo punk pirate
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic. Like it
A lot
is.
of heavy metal in this. I
Yeah,
feel, with
yeah,
some of
yeah.
those, just some of those themes you mentioned, a lot of heavy metal.
I'm.
Yeah.
I was so into this. Like I was a GI Joe kid at this point. I'm 13, so I'm at the end of my time collecting
You're
the
just
figure.
about to be a man.
Just about to be a man. Maybe one day I'll be graced with that. But I remember, there was this subset, these mercenaries that Cobra hires called the Dreadnoks,
Oh
who
yeah,
were
of
for a
course.
lot of kids like their very safe introduction to to like gangs. Like
Right.
they're this biker gang of kind of Cockney, kind of Australian, kind of
Right.
Florida Everglades, depending
Kind
where
of
you're getting
punky.
them.
Kind of
They're,
yeah.
you know what? It feels like an
Yeah.
old person's interpretation of what they think is dangerous
Yes.
because they're
What
pulling
about
from.
motorcycles? What about
Oh yeah.
mohawks? Yeah.
Well, the as Jason says there, the Zartan and crew, they were based in the Florida Everglades, but on the cartoon they all had, and the comics they were based in the Everglades.
They have an alligator.
In they didn't have an alligator. I mean, eventually on Cobra Island there's Crocmaster. Those are crocodiles. I recognize the difference.
Rockmaster, right?
But that all being said, uh, so the comics they're Florida based without accents, of
Sure.
course, because it's a
Well,
comic.
they have Florida accents. Whatever
You'd
those are.
hope. And they looked just like the action figures, which were designed by, again, artists, not the
Yeah.
like the writer of the series. But they, one guy has a mohawk,
Yeah.
and sunglasses. The other guy has like British motorcycle kind of sunglasses and a ponytail.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of wearing cut off mixes of camo. They all are wearing denim.
Is one
pants.
called Roadhog or Warthog?
That comes along. So there's one guy called Road Pig.
Road
But
Pig.
That's after. I mean,
No, I
those guys
know, but
come.
it's starting to form. I'm like, I think
So, Buzzer, Ripper, and Torch. And Buzzer has a chainsaw, Torch has a blowtorch, and Ripper has a laser rifle with a blade on the end.
right.
And they're just these three hooligans. And
Right.
so in the cartoon they have strong Cockney accents and they're ridiculous. But there was something always outbackish, like Australian outback about them.
Sure.
Because they kind of look like they belonged in Crocodile Dundee as well.
Well, I was going to say, right, Crocodile Dundee, yeah.
There's this kind of convergence of weird things. Then, yes, as Jason's saying, then they add Xandar and Zorana. At the same year, by the way, they also added Monkey Wrench and the driver of the Thrasher. What was his name? He was
Road
such a
Pig?
No, Road Pig comes a year after that. But yeah, so they keep adding guys to just flesh out this gang. But it was just
It's
nonsense.
the 80s, man. It's the 80s.
It was,
Games.
and they also had a lot of characteristics of, elements from the movie Running Man.
Yeah.
And what's the New York movie with all the Warriors? The Warriors.
Oh, the Warriors.
And Escape from New York. Like all those kind of, again, like these almost corporate and cinematic versions of delinquency and gangs.
Yeah.
So they're very, very clean in their kind of way. But this is another step. I feel like this is like cyberpunk. Like Silvestri is looking at things that we haven't seen in North America or that kids haven't seen. So the Heavy Metal magazine and manga, like he's got his eye on things that's a step further. So the idea of like a skull tattoo is mind-blowing for a 12 or 13-year-old. Like you haven't seen that before. Or the mix of like paramilitary gear or old army surplus things with cybernetics, and it was mind-blowing. Really, really, really weird and great. Anyway, they're still one of my favorite groups of villains, as we will talk about. Yeah, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. By the way, in the chat, it's pre-image, right? This predates Image by 4 years about at this point, but the groundwork is being laid as those guys are each having a huge role in like moving Marvel's sales forward exciting younger readers. If anyone does know the name of that one, I usually get my G.I. Joe character names like crazy fast.
Good.
So the dude who drives the Thrasher, or is his name Thrasher, and he drives...
Do you want me to look it up?
No. It'll come up. The vehicle, the first car that Dredd, his name is Thrasher, and he drives a burgundy and navy...
The Thunder Machine.
Thunder Machine.
Drives a Thunder Machine.
He has like green highlights in his pompadour, his greasy pompadour.
I found that real quick, man.
Green dyed hair, yeah. But his name was Thrasher, and he wears hockey or football shoulder pads, like
of course,
top piece. And his midriff is cut like.
Look at that Thunder Machine. Just looking at the actual toy.
It's got 2 Gatling guns on the front.
Yeah.
It was as a toy, it's really easy to disassemble. So it was a really fun one to crash and then have like it as wreckage for them to rally around and have to, like defend themselves on a turned over car.
Speaking of interesting looks on vehicles, sorry, I just want, because I noted this, I wanted to say this to you. I was at the airport in France like a week ago in Paris. And as I'm flying back, you know how airports have like unique vehicles to airports, and they may be bigger or smaller or different versions of things that like, oh, that's kind of a truck, but it's not a truck. Oh, it's kind of, there was this like thing that was like low to the ground, but it had 2 giant wheels in the front of it, like on the tarmac buzzing around. And it made me think of like a Mad Max. And I was like, this is super cool. I don't even know what that is.
Were the wheels close together or far apart?
No, they were far apart. And it made me think, like then when I just looked at the Thunder Machine, I was like, oh, right. Like just piecing together these vehicles.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I was saying to Danielle, my wife, as we were walking, I'm like, don't you find, like, look at all these vehicles. It's like, you never see anything like that. She's like, I don't. Can we just get on the plane? I'm like, all right, sure.
Yeah, sure. That tracks. So connecting that back to an artist like Silvestri, like he's getting to do all that imagination play,
right?
And mix and match pieces, and maybe never draw something the same twice. Every panel, every character is just different, and it's a ton of fun to see them. And it makes you think, like, if you collect different toy lines, just Sid these things together. Just break up some like a robot toy and a soldier toy, mash them together, and then paint the guy's face with a skull on it. Like we're having some fun here.
Oh yeah.
And I've often, like a lot of other collectors of 6-inch or 6-inch action figures, often wanted to make a bunch of Reavers. It just seems like a fun thing to do on a Sunday afternoon.
And it's also, as we'll get into the comic and see, it's a great narrative foil because they can rebuild themselves, so you can trash them.
Yes, which look at all the toy lines that we watched as kids, or all the toy lines that we played with and had cartoons, when we were kids. Whenever there are, let's make this about X-Men then, because that's really what we're talking about.
We're talking about
how many times did Wolverine fight robots or Sentinels, especially on the show, and that would be the only time he would ever land a punch, because he can slice right through them. So this gives him characters to tear through at a level that we haven't seen in a comic book aimed at this age from Marvel. He's just gutting. He can gut characters left, right, and center, and there's no blood. It's just
that's great. Exactly,
just nuts and bolts. Yeah. But I think of all those things we watched where the opposition was just robots, stormtroopers, but in the inside. That's episode 1, right? Like the droid army. Perfect.
Yeah.
All the Jedis can just go through them, and no one's going to be like, oh my God, they slaughtered 50 men. What are you doing?
Just decapitated the whole platoon. Nah, that's okay.
What? Massacre. I also remind myself in '88 where the Punisher has ongoing series, 2 of them at least. Obviously there's Punisher limited series. Americans are getting Judge Dredd. They're getting these more hyper violent representations, and for the X-Men to go from being 70s superheroes into like all those canon films have come out by this point.
Right.
Schwarzenegger and Stallone are household names, and they're like regularly going to be like Chuck Norris movies and other B list or B movies that are coming out straight to video that are just we were just inundated with gun violence and on TV and movies. So this tracks that Marvel's kind of moving in that direction for their readers if the sales is working. So I find it all interesting how it is a very end of 80s pop culture trend that we're going to get this. Yeah. All right, let's kill some guys.
All right, let's get into this.
Singapore. A country that's an island. 2.5 million people living on 239 square miles at the bottom of the Malay Peninsula and the entrance to the Straits of Malacca. Is it called Malacca? Malacca. I don't know. Malacca. One of the premier harbors in South Asia and a financial center of the world. Lots of money here, combined with all the wondrous toys it can buy. Newest of the towering skyscrapers that fill the downtown skyline is the headquarters of the Hone International Bank. Not the biggest building or bank by any means, but the financial community's fastest rising star, a force to be reckoned with, mingling cutting-edge 21st century technology with traditional old-world courtesy.
It is most kind of you to spend time with us, Miss Hone.
My pleasure, Mrs. Pei. A quintessentially civilized establishment where nothing bad could ever possibly happen. What? The my copy is the ink is smudged all over. It's a good mess.
Oh yeah. See that yellow? Yeah, the yellowing on this. I don't know if you can see the outline, just the of the page on our right, but it's got that yellow hue to it.
Oh yeah, that's newsprint for you.
Yeah, old newsprint.
Yeah. Stanley presents Down Under.
Nice.
Starring the Uncanny X-Men. Raiders, as much machines as men. Mrs. Pei, children, get down. And right away, we see this guy just getting torn open.
Right. So this is what I mean. This is what I was going to say. This is what I mean, like the different era, new era, however you want to position this. You turn the page and blood, guys got bullet holes through them, done.
Yes.
That is not something that we have seen much of up to this point.
No, not in X-Men. I mean, there was
not an X-Men. Not an X-Men. Yeah.
Some in Wolverine, like the limited series, but in X-Men comics, we have not seen people ripped open and shot open. So this is it is a change, and you're right. It is almost like a new beginning, or has the tone of a new series. Just for pointing out characters. Right, the guy almost in the front of that he's Skullbuster, and there is a Marvel Legends Skullbuster.
Right.
We do see the guy with 2 pistols who looks real happy wearing leather. Blam Blam or Bam Blam. I think that's supposed to be Pretty Boy.
That's Pretty Boy.
I don't know if we get to meet them by name yet. And then I've forgotten the one whose lower half is a
Bonebreaker.
Bonebreaker, sure. And there is a Build-A-Figure of him.
Who don't you have that Build-A-Figure?
I do. I have all 3 of those guys.
Of course.
But I want the guy in the football helmet.
Oh, yeah, right. Of course, right.
And
nobodies. Yeah.
So we also should, of course, because this is a show about not just X-Men comics, but how it connects to the movies and other X-Men media at large. The Reavers are all over Logan, the film Logan, from whatever year that was, 2019, 2018, 2017, I don't remember what year it was. They're all over. They are the mercenaries that are after Laura, X-23, that come on to the property not far from the Mexican border, where
Right.
Logan and Professor X are hiding out. And you get to see a lot of them have just like wrist, lower arm augmentation. Not much more than that.
Yeah,
But
no
those guys
bone breaker like augmentation. But
yeah, it would have been wild if they had taken it to that next level. But I mean, I get why they kept it grounded to the degree that it was. But they've kind of made their appearances in film, and it's neat to have this group of guys that just have this next level of nasty and injury and technology. Very cool. And that is a great double page. Remember Dave Cockrum used to do these all the time, where it's like the top half is one panel widescreen, bottom you get the ongoing. I love that idea. And that portal that they come through is, I think, expressed really well, and them just pouring out like a bunch of kids getting out for recess, having the time of their lives. It looks amazing, and
the energy is there, right?
Oh yeah, he's great. This is a great creative team. So we've got, like I said earlier at the introduction, Chris Claremont on writing, Marc Silvestri penciling, Dan Green inks, Glynis Oliver and Tom Orzechowski on colors and letters, Anna Senti's editor, and Tom DeFalco is editor-in-chief.
Okay.
This security guard. In seconds, the bank's lobby is transformed into a slaughterhouse. Bullets fly without discrimination or mercy.
Mei Ling? Blessed Buddha, my baby! Mei Ling!
So now we're getting children being killed.
Right. Page 2.
Yeah, not the 1975 X-Men comic that we've been kind of tracking up to this point. This is a decisive turn.
Are they all Australian?
The Reavers?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, because we have to start voicing them.
We do.
So I don't have an answer for that. At least we don't know right now. We do have a guy wearing an army helmet with stars on it.
Right.
And I do know that later is later. And then the football helmet is also American. So I think if you want a character that is Australian because you want to do an Aussie accent, I say go for it.
Okay.
Maybe Bonebreaker is your man.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. That's where I was going with that. Yeah.
So Jason says, yep, they're Aussies.
Okay.
I don't remember what comes forward in terms of their, and we know that, spoilers, they are going to be joined by other characters that we know that take on the name Reavers as well. Like they're going to get new recruits that we are familiar with.
Gotcha.
They're not Australian. So I think the idea of it being a mix of any kind of, English speaking mercenary, I think tracks and is fun. So feel free to Aussie it up, whatever you want to do. I think it will all read just fine. And if we decisively find out that they are from one spot or another as a group, then obviously we can pivot.
Right. They're like New South Wales versus.
Sure. Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what I was
talking about. The regional dialects.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do Bonebreaker then.
And of course, because of the way I look, I'll be Pretty Boy.
You got Pretty Boy. Figure we got their attention, Pretty Boy.
Though still breathing fearless leader, indubitably.
Lordy, I do love it. Lordy, I do love it when my plan comes together. Y'all know your job, Reavers. Let's move the joint.
I didn't know he was the leader. That's awesome. And tank treads. He's got tank treads.
Tank treads.
I like that his glasses come up too. He's such a I don't know.
Oh yeah. It's such a great caricature. It's great. It's fun. It's fun.
And so, yo, Prez, you gonna be a good boy and open your main vault, or am I gonna break your neck? Louder, old man. Can't understand a word you're saying. He got pirated. So I have decided, because the way his word balloons are drawn, it looks like his voice is really like garbled and muffled, but I don't want him to be sounding like Wolverine. But at the same time, Jason was saying they're based in Northern Australia. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that part, but I will just say because someone's based in Australia doesn't make them Australian in terms of their accents for performance.
Right.
We need to know where they're born, where their parents are born, where they were educated, and what are their motivations? What are their wants and desires?
Yeah,
What are their dreams and fears? That's how we know how to voice them properly.
Get into their heads.
Stop it! My uncle can't answer. Can't you see that? You're choking him.
Whoa! Check this out.
He's Goldbuster. Better watch your step, bro. This cheek is tough. I'm a reasonable man. You want to save the old coot sweets? You provide the combination. There is none. When you attacked, the security computers automatically sealed the vault. The time lock can't be opened for 24 hours. We can't wait. Then it appears you butchers have made all this effort, caused all this carnage for nothing. No fooling. Golly gosh gee. Then we don't need the old geezer no more. Uncle! Piers will have to do things the hard way after all.
No prob. Like I always say, Skull, you want a job done well, it pays to be prepared.
Let me go! Perish the thought. Delightful creature, you and I are to become the best of friends.
To do it yourself. Lordy! What a wonderful sight. Clock's running, Ravers, so don't dawdle.
We got one of the Reavers has got a big swastika tattoo.
I just saw that. Yeah.
And this is not happening today. Like, you're not getting that in a Marvel comic nowadays. But I do find that there's a generation of, baby boomers and Gen Xers that are understandably like obsessed with the various historical events of the 20th century. And man, I mean, you can't go through like some of the biggest names in comics. You can't go through Frank Miller graphic novels or any of his series, or Mike Mignola, like without coming across characters with a swastika on them. Yeah, the iconography is seems to work with a lot of cartoonists.
Right. No toy, pretty boy.
A recruit, actually. Jesson Hone, financial whiz par excellence.
Just what the doc ordered. Otherwise, she's struggling. Tiger might be a better name.
That is a little foreshadowing.
Ooh.
For those who have read Marvel Comics Presents and know the future of things going on in Madripoor. That is a little foreshadowing.
So long to your family, Tiger Gale. We're taking you to your reward. I'm sending them to theirs.
His tank treads really change size too. Like sometimes it looks like it's the size of a car. Other times, just a little thing underneath him. Yeah, which is all good.
All good.
So I'm curious about this, how the portals they have, and of course we're given that almost right away.
Sure.
She screams, her throat raw, her cries mingling with those of her relatives as Bonebreaker cuts them down. Then, in a blink of blinding light, full day in Singapore gives way to sunset, roughly 3,500 miles eastward in Australia. A wild, desolate land, this heart of the fifth and most remote of Earth's continents. Thanks, Claremont. A place that in many ways appears as the world did when it was young, raw, untempered by either elements or man. Barely 2 centuries have passed since the Europeans came, saw, conquered. Before this was the province of the people we call Aborigines, who not so much lived on the land, but actually seemed one with it. Way to go, Gateway!
You brought us home, mate, safe and sound, just like always.
He makes no reply. This thin, wizened man, as weathered as the hills, and some joke, but never in his presence, probably as old. He merely whirls his bull roarer until the last of the cyborg raiders has emerged through the portal, then stops. And with the silence, sudden, eerie, as disquieting as it is all-encompassing, his bonfire fades to embers. The gateway portal closes. Man, I'll never get used to how dark it gets out here, Bonebreaker. How quick.
No big deal, Skull. I can light things up bright as day, whenever I please.
Old Coot looks angry, boss.
Don't mind. He can look any which way he pleases, so long as he does what he's told. But mark me, Gateway. Any funny stuff in the Reavers will trash your holy place beyond all hope of consecration. And then your people will never know peace. You wander the dreamland, slave to the outside spirits, to the end of time and beyond.
These guys are assholes.
Yeah. Is there a team out there who can take these guys down?
I wonder. So on this next page, I mentioned you once before about like stickers and pins and such. These pins, we've got this famous Frank Miller drawing being used in the ad, and then two Frank Miller poses. One is Daredevil, one is Wolverine.
Yeah.
We're just going to use these things as pins. Yeah, fun. Not a beautiful green demon.
I mean, I don't even know. Yeah.
Look at that guy.
Whatever
that place is.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Oh my gosh. It's in Brampton, Ontario.
It is.
Home of comic creator Ricky Lima.
Brampton, Ontario. Friend of the pod.
Is the place called Star Games? Like, is that what that is supposed to be?
I think so.
An ad for a store? Free 100 levels, pre-drawn 100 level dungeon. It's
got a money back guarantee.
I don't understand what you're getting. So it's usable for role-playing games. It's like it's a dungeon. Okay, anyway, but
it's a dungeon in Brampton.
Yeah, Jason Jose says could use those 100-level dungeons. Yeah, that's so funny. So this is like a place I drove through yesterday. That's
right.
Small world. I love it's in Brampton. 80s Brampton. After every caper, there's always a party. A partay. Tonight's no different. Within an hour of the Reavers' return, everybody's happy. Now, this location, this establishing shot on the outside, when I was a kid, I always thought this was like a film set for country and western movies.
Right.
I didn't understand it as being something in the Australian outback. Like, why are they living in an old hotel from a movie set?
Right.
And I don't know what the reference is, like what he's aiming for. If this is supposed to have... Is there some kind of architecture in Australia where they would have had this kind of look? Yeah, very, very weird to my eye as a kid. I don't know what to make of it. Within an hour of the Reavers' return, everybody's happy. They play as hard as they fight, with no rules. So they're arm wrestling, and the guy's arm comes right off.
Right off, yeah.
Yeah, Skullbuster just takes the guy's arm off. I love the idea that, someone making them food? Like, are people actually doing work like
it's hard
serving
to say.
drinks? Who washes the dishes,
Just like a flop house, yeah.
This guy is playing cards with one arm because he's probably he had to put his hand in the pot, and he has his football helmet on. It's fun because if he takes the helmet off, part of his skull,
I'm sure
it gives you access to
exposed.
Some raw brain back there. with no rules and less mercy. But while these festivities rage ever more wildly out of control, not far away, underground. Where am I? What is this place? Our hideout, of course. And since we looted your treasure vault, little tiger, it seems only polite to show you ours. I was looking at the comic stores on the ad.
Yeah.
I'm always curious about that.
Brantford, Victoria.
Yeah, and Comic Connection in Hamilton.
Is that still there?
I don't know. It feels like the name, feels like it's still there, but I don't actually know. But why bring me here? What do you want with me? Why? To make you one of us? No! Protest all you wish. It won't make a whit of difference. That's gross, by the way.
It's super gross. These super long arms, yeah.
Please, don't. Please, no, please. You see, we have all this booty, but no way to spend it. What we require is a financial wizard. That's you. To put it to good and profitable use. However, while your banking skills are an asset, other aspects of your character are distinct liabilities. Inconvenient elements such as a sense of morality, scruples, decency. So I'm going to erase them. Replace them with an attitude more in keeping with your new life as a Reaver. Instant psychic reprogramming, like being reborn. No muss, no fuss, presto changeo, a whole new you. Isn't that nice? I don't like that stuff coming out of his eyes. I don't like any of that.
Is it goo? Is it like techno-organic goo?
I think it's techno-organic tentacle.
Ugh.
It's gross. I do not like it at all.
I don't like the long arms also.
Nope.
No, thank you, sir.
Eventually, nature takes its toll, even on men who are mostly machine. But as Oblivion claims their rank-and-file Reavers, Bonebreaker is summoned outside.
Impossible.
That's what I thought. That's why I called. The weather scan forecast is quiet. Clear night. Didn't say nothing about no sandstorm.
Big one, too. Coming our way fast. On your feet, buckos. Bad winds rising. I want this place closed up tight. Now, girls! What's that?
Quit bellowing, Bonebreaker. Noise hurts.
You don't get your butt in gear, clown, and secure the storm shutters. You'll be dead.
But even as the Reavers blearily gather their wits and some stumble to obey, the wind is on them. Sand tearing at flesh and hardware with equal viciousness. Shorting electrical systems, fouling drives and joints. The storm eliciting such fiendish, all-around misery that it seems almost alive. In a sense, it is. For high overhead soars the woman who summoned and directs it. My tempest covers the town and its environs. The Reavers should be completely immobilized. Got it, Storm. What's next?
Storm.
Now, this is a Storm talking?
Yeah.
Or is that her talking?
It says Psylocke. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
It is weird.
That's okay. Scan the town with your telepathic powers, Psylocke. We need to know the location and condition of every living soul. Done. Now Psylink me with Havoc. Alex, this is Storm via Psylocke. The Reavers have a prisoner. Psylocke is transmitting her psychic fix on the woman's location. Use your plasma beams to blast a pathway to her.
My pleasure, boss lady.
And from Alex Summers' outstretched hands, rips the raw, ravening primal force of the sun. And so, visitors, how nice! Be patient, we'll be through here momentarily. Dazzler! That monster man is stealing her days.
What?
Replacing her lifelike with his own.
He's so angry as if the same thing had been done to him. Oh!
Leave her alone, monster man! And he throws his blades like right through those eye goo tentacle things.
Eye goo tentacles. Yeah.
My eyes!
He's gone as crazy as Wolverine. Whoops! Mountain's too steep. Oh gosh. Can't get my balance. Oh, golly. Maintain a handhold. Oh, help!
Don't be scared, miss. You're safe and rescued now.
Ow, 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 ow. This is embarrassing.
This is a lot of gold coins.
A lot of gold coins, like a pirate's treasure. He did say the word booty. So
He did. Or
it's
like
got
a
that.
dragon.
Exactly. Gotta get my bearings. Where's the bad guy? Crumbs, his arms. They're extendable.
He's got those disgusting fingernails now.
He really
too.
does too. Yeah, those are gross.
He is yucky. I want him dead. Feel how sharp my bionic fingers are, pretty girl. I could have torn out your throat right off. But I have a better idea.
Bionic? That means the arms are artificial. Maybe a laser shot can cut me loose. Pew pew. One down. Grip tightening. Can't breathe. Throat being crushed. Have to blast him away with my solid light. Photon blast.
Very impressive, girl. You're stronger than you look, but I'm tougher. And once these fiber optic filaments burrow into your brain, you won't want to fight me anymore. You'll be a reaver, body and soul. He loves that phrase, by the way, Claremont, body and soul. So now that we know they're fiber optic, I kind of wish there was a detail to them that showed them as less morphy and liquid, like maybe like a coiling around the cable.
Yeah. Cable-y would be, that
maybe would really
some
help.
kind of output-input type thing.
Sure.
That'd help.
Instead of this looking like just blood coming out of the eyes.
Yeah, green goo.
Dazzler,
It's
are
got a
you
really
okay?
bad cold, you know?
Yes, that's happened.
It's all
I had
mucus.
$1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Petra says, Canon films via Scrooge McDuck. I hear you.
Scrooge McDuck.
Dazzler, are you okay? You're glowing so bright. I can't see what is happening.
It's because she's gone nuclear.
Yeah, body and soul.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, upstairs.
You think those totals give up without a fight, Colossus? Considering their crimes and character rogue. I hope not.
Okay, already I don't like this. I don't like what Colossus is wearing.
You don't
This
like
is
what he
making
looks
me
like?
uncomfortable.
I mean, it's so strange. It is. It's so strange.
I get, like, now if we're just going to be reasonable humans for a moment and not making jokes, I get that given that the setup of the character, clothing and costuming him is not like an easy set of artistic choices, because you're trying to now get this to be a little more grounded. You're, trying to make them intimidating and, a little more obviously violent and modern, like they need an update.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So his costumes they don't lend themselves to this moment, but this doesn't work really either. He's wearing like, water shoes and a bathing suit. So it doesn't exactly jive.
No, I agree.
Jason Jose says, Peter's trying a new look. Plus, I'm sure he was tired of the costumes being ripped all the time. Yeah, I just have just pants.
Yeah, pants would be nice.
Pants, yeah. It's awesome, like that Deadpool Wolverine look of him wearing, like cargo.
Oh yeah,
combat pants, combat boots, and a essentially a tank top. Like that really works.
It does work. It really does. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway. And this is the debut of Rogue's new costume.
Right.
And there is an action figure of this, of course, which I could not help but get.
Of course.
Because this is a sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
Wham, bash, slam. Ow!
Help!
Thump, bash, hit, slam. Kaboom!
Had enough.
Reavers. Oh, sorry, it's you. Yeah.
That's right. Get him!
I guess, big buddy, they gotta learn the hard way that we mean business.
My bullet's bouncing off.
What'd you expect, chump? He's armor, and I'm pretty near invulnerable. Face facts, lamos, y'all are way outclassed. We'll see how you smart you talk, bimbo, after I tell you. Lordy, no.
Rogue strength isn't what makes her a mutant. It's the power to absorb other people's psyche and abilities. The moment Bonebreaker grabs her, his hands on her bare arms, she's instantly flooded with the totality of his being. The process knocks him out. She isn't so lucky.
Skullface moving in on Rogue. Well, she's too looped to care. Back off, Buster.
You get to take a drink for that one, I think.
Yeah, it's clear these bozos are mostly robots, but it still gives me the creeps when I blast them like that. Can't help wondering if it hurts. Hey, how you doing, partner? Thoughts, memories, foulest kind. Where is that scunge barge? Bonebreaker, I want your heart.
Oof.
Yeah.
Still breathing. Scan stats mostly green. Gonna assume you'll recover. Time to scamper, Bone. We're done here. Have to start again. Someplace else. I picks up the guy's torso. Yep.
That shot of Colossus doing the classic whammo in the background, the two guys' heads together.
And it says the word Clud, which of course is the inspiration for the famous actor who played Ant-Man, Paul Cludd.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he gets his name from. That was a reference to him. Elsewhere, in case you've been wondering where this guy is, and I felt this just think Frank Miller's Wolverine Limited Series, in that we have these open panels. We have just the way this composition goes. It's different than everything else. I feel like Silvestri is just he's playing with the Wolverine thing through Miller's lens a little. Elsewhere.
Up on the roof. Intruder. Blast him.
They do their best. Against Wolverine, it isn't enough.
Jeez.
So, of course, this is what the whole issue should be for me. Is I just want to see him hacking and slashing. It's funny. It doesn't really read clear as to what is being thrown. But if you look at just the line art, if you're able to get your hands on X-Men Essentials, which are beautiful reprintings of just the line art at a higher clarity without the color there as well, you can see that these are limbs. We've got a couple hands and forearms and upper arms. But the colorists, they weren't able to determine what all the form is. So they cut out these color blobs in a way that obscures the clarity of the detail that Silvestri and Green lay down. But yeah, him walking through the rubble of the wreckage of these bodies as the wind sweeps through. So, good.
It's great. It's a great page.
What happening, mate? Skull, what you doing, man? That girl, she's empty, man.
Oh, no, sorry.
She zapped you, man. And her buddies are nailing the Reavers. We stay will end up the same. On the junkyard. Old man, gateway. Portal us and accounts are squared. You're released from all debts and vows. My gracious Skullbuster! I trust you're not planning on leaving without me? Thought your charm was irresistible. Did I say it wasn't? Blondie and I are far from finished. Gone. He calls them an abo, meaning like a slang for aboriginal or aborigines.
Yeah.
I hope that's not some derogatory way of saying it. Like, it's
Yeah.
Claremont inventing a thing.
Right.
Like,
Or
did
is it
people
a
ever
thing?
call others abos? I don't know if I'll
Right.
read it, and it'll be on the internet forever, and it's fine. It's coming from a complete place of ignorance on my part here. Gone. Old Abo must have been some kind of teleporter. Must be some kind of teleporter. No way to follow their trail. But I can at least make sure this gateway doesn't open again. No, Wolverine! Sheathe your claws. For all his actions, I sense this man is no more villain or reaver than we.
My dog has just started doing zoomies.
Yeah, mine came in here and he's sitting beside me asking for pets and cuddles too. But he's quiet. He's my guy's a 100% purebred good boy. So what are you gonna do? How could you be so spineless to cast away your birthright flesh and replace it with machinery?
Yeah, shut up, you wimp.
Ms. Hone's thoughts are chaos, impossible to read. Then let her be, Psylocke. Give her a chance to calm down.
Fight over, fellas? Bad guys all beaten? Darn.
This was the easy part, darling. Problem now is, what next? Ain't a prison in the world that can hold these beauties. Even if we could find a court to convict them. Whole world thinks we're dead, remember? Bad enough 3 of them got away. Our secret will be our secret will really be blown once this crowd starts blabbing.
Do you want me to do Nova? I don't know.
Sure.
Dear Wolverine, have faith. There are always alternatives.
Roma!
Greetings, Storm. You have done well.
I was thinking like which characters kind of walk in on the ether. Galadriel maybe, or
right, yeah.
Or
I remain Roma. Exactly.
Glenda the Good Witch.
Right.
Know?
Yeah, totally.
But Wizard of Oz, you know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
If ever a band of villains needed to be brought to justice, this is it. Our thanks, Celestial One, for sending us to this place.
Hey, Storm, I have the ideal solution. The same Psylocke proposed for me way back when I stumbled on the team. Kill him.
I've got a great idea. Murder.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I got no problem with that.
I was being sarcastic, mister.
Take a drink. I'm not.
It's no more than these chumps deserve. Comrades, is this what we fought and sacrificed for? To become executioners? As I said, my friends, there are alternatives. Behold the siege perilous. From the immemorial portal to man's fate. Time immemorial portal to man's fate. Those who pass through its portal are judged by the highest of powers. The good and ill of their lives are weighed in the cosmic balance, and they are born again, given a second chance to redeem themselves. However, should you prefer Wolverine's course, theirs will be the true death, their spirits irreparably shattered and cast into the ultimate void. I confess, Roma, what you're saying makes no sense to me. But what are we after here, people? What's our true purpose? Justice or vengeance?
With his claws still popped.
Of course.
Sometimes, boy, vengeance is justice. The Reavers showed no mercy. Why should we? Because, Psylocke, we are not them.
Hey, so I know we've talked a little bit. There's a bit of a Havoc's costume, and that's fine.
Yes,
over
sir.
our time. Is that meant to be a jewel in the middle of
It's
this
a brooch.
It's
It's
like
a
a
brooch.
it's a decorative brooch. Okay.
It's a decorative brooch that's been
Is it
thumbtacked
ruby
from the
quartz? Do we know if it's ruby quartz?
Oh.
You know, like a little nod to his bro. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been thumbtacked into his forehead.
Nice, thumbtack.
So it really hurts. Like when he's in this costume, he's always in a bad mood. Yeah, it is such a strange look that it feels like he comes from a different comic book series, a different artist altogether, which is
Cool.
true. Which
Yeah.
is true. I would love it if there was. I really okay. So I get a little compulsive and obsessive in that order about tweaking characters' costumes in my headcanon.
Sure.
And once in a while, I will go and either draw them the way I want or modify an action figure or something. With this one, I've yet to kind of in my head figure out how to do a version of Havoc that acknowledges where his design comes from, but feels like it belongs with either the Dave Cockrum costume group,
Right.
or a JRJR, which was never great with costumes with the X-Men, or I guess into like an Arthur Adams or Alan Davis or any of those other kind of great artists that come after. But man, I wish Havoc looked like he was an X-Man, but still looked like Havoc. And I don't know what that common ground is.
Mm-hmm.
Those weird, I don't even know what to call the crown that he wears. It is so strange. It doesn't make any sense in 3D. Yeah. I don't even know where to begin. Yeah. And then there's the Siege Perilous here, which maybe we can talk about.
Siege Perilous. Yeah.
She presents it like she manifests it from her palms, and it obviously grows as big as a giant doorway. In the chat last week, it was brought to our attention through all the great people in the chat about where it comes from.
Oh, okay.
It comes from like the Alan Moore time period where he was working on Captain Britain. So it seems that Claremont is pulling from Alan Moore's run. Roma comes from that run as well.
Yes, right.
Those elements are coming in from that stretch of Captain Britain comics, like Marvel UK stuff.
Right.
I see this checklist here. I'm just drawn to kind of where things are at.
Yeah.
It's neat to see like what series are up and running, how far they are. Alpha Flight 58. So Jim Lee's there. Jim Lee is like working on Alpha Flight. It's only a matter of time before he gets a shot at trying out X-Men, which is kind of neat to see. What else is of note? G.I. Joe 71. Oof, it's way, way, way down that series. Michael Golden's finished his run on the Nom. Simonson has just finished his run on Thor recently. X Factor 28. So Simonson is on. He's gone from Thor over to X Factor already for a while now. Yeah, neat.
Daredevil 254 might be the Typhoid Mary.
Sure.
Arc with John with Romita Jr.
Yeah. Neat.
Hmm.
Storm continues. We have endured so much these past months, X-Men. If we have learned nothing from our experiences, we do not deserve the second chance we now possess. Reavers, I offer you a choice. The Siege Perilous or Wolverine?
That's a choice.
Bonebreaker dumped us. Saved his own hide. We owe him nothing.
I want to live, lady, any way I can. I'll take the siege.
You think you're on a first-name basis with Mr. Perilous? It's Siege Perilous to you, sir.
S. Perilous, Esquire.
All the Reavers follow suit and are quickly sent on their way. Roma, I have been wondering since we first met. Are you the goddess, the world spirit I invoke, whom I behold in my youth, whom I beheld in my youth?
I'm honored you think me so, Aurora, but in many ways I'm younger than you, and certainly much newer in my job. We're both learning as we go, as much, unfortunately, from our mistakes as our successes.
The X-Men's guardian angel, then?
No! What I do now balances the scales between us. My thanks for your aid against the adversary, but once done, we must be quits.
That's an odd expression.
Yeah, it's like a breakup.
Yeah, we must be quits.
Yeah.
There's
I
also
am-
sorry, there's also a strange art thing.
Okay.
Have you ever heard people talk about tangents
Not too
in the
much.
context of drawing?
Okay.
So what we're talking about, as you create an object through your drawing,
Yeah.
or an element, a visual element, because everything is kind of done with holding lines or outlines, you want to make sure that you don't have, let's say, Rogue is standing next to or in front of a bunch of Reavers.
Yeah.
And the fact that her arms overlap with those Reavers going through the Siege Perilous,
Yeah.
like, we see that she's in front of them because her arm is drawn overlapping where their body is, but not, her elbow doesn't exactly touch their hip. It's over their body. So we can tell that they're separate. So you try and avoid these areas where a line might be misinterpreted as something else.
Okay.
So the word balloon in panel 4, where it's Roma's second word balloon,
Yeah.
it almost curves into the back of her neck in the previous panel.
It's true. Yeah.
That is a really, really odd thing, and a good editor would spot that and make sure that something has to get changed. You lower that down. You lower that word balloon to the bottom of the panel so that it doesn't make that weird tangent of those lines. That is a really odd looking one. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. I am the guardian of the omniverse. I have too much to care for to concentrate. However, much I might desire otherwise, on any one corner of reality. To do so would place unendurable strains on the whole continuum, and it has already suffered enough.
After you, Stanley.
No, Ollie, you first.
Stanley and Ollie.
Yeah.
No! I can't. Please don't make me. I won't go through that awful doorway. Ms. Hone! It isn't fair. I'm not one of them. Why must I be punished? Don't cry. You'll be fine. We'll keep you safe. Lady has a point. She's a victim. She doesn't deserve that. Doesn't deserve to share the Reaver's fate. But how can we release her knowing what she does?
Maybe sometimes we have to trust people. If we sacrifice an innocent, no matter how noble or necessary our rationalization, then we've become what we've sworn to fight.
Havoc is right. The risk must be taken. Roma, forgive me for asking, but is there any way you can help?
The powers of time and space are mine to command, Wind Rider. I shall cast her home to the place and moment from which she was abducted. From her lips your legend will begin to grow. Know, X-Men, that the Siege Perilous is for your use as well. As Avalon was for King Arthur, so may the siege be for you. A release from the trials and travails of this world. Gateway to a paradise well earned, if such is your desire. What then of the dreamer teacher Professor Xavier's dream that brought us together, and now, more than ever, gives our lives meaning? You call us heroes and legends. To me, Roma, those are labels with little meaning. Another person's description of me, not my own. I am Peter Nikolaevich Rasputin. I am Colossus. I am an X-Man. That is important. That is what matters. And while I breathe, I will fight with all my heart for Xavier's dream and the better world it represents.
My little brother speaks for us all, I think, Roma. Save your siege perilous for another time. We are far from done with ours.
So be it. But your death, X-Men, was more than mere hyperbole. In a sense, you stand apart from life. You cannot be detected by any agency other than yourselves, living or mechanical, magical or scientific. Neither being, nor power, nor enchantment. You may be seen by the naked eye and by the devices of this place, your new home, but that is all. Finally, I leave the siege in your charge to be used as you will. Only the most brave and most worthy have been granted such awesome responsibility. You are the first so charged, so honored, in over 1,000 years. You, my children, have the opportunity and capability to lead your world to the brightest or darkest of destinies. Use it well, for you hold the future in your hands.
Next, 'Twas the Night.
Let's go that popped out. Wow.
Yeah. I always take a look at these letter columns to see if there's something that interests me in terms of the names of the people or the places that they're from. I see one from Russell Bennett in a place that I will not name because our two cities are in a hockey rivalry at the moment. But I do see someone else in Toledo, Ohio, named Keith Barrick, who lives on Toronto Avenue, and I can't help but notice that one. Yeah, it's just people saying like, "Oh, I didn't like this, but then I liked that, and I didn't like that thing that happened there, but now I'm really liking this." And nothing too much of note otherwise when in the letter column. But overall, I kind of don't know what the heck any of this is when it comes to the new status quo of the X-Men. They've been given a cosmic jail or
Phantom Zone?
a phantom zone. I don't know. Is it a holding facility? Is it a reincarnation machine? I don't really get what it is, but it feels like the X-Men, like you said, it's an issue 1. It is a whole new thing. I don't know if it is a whole new good thing or not, but I do like the idea of just again a fresh start in some capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a good time for, let's just say, X Factor or the New Mutants to take over the title and have this group in their own, new kind of thing. But yeah, I'm on their journey with them, and I like this group of characters. It's a big team, a lot of members. You really are like a 9 character team. I would love it if they give Madeline Pryor a little bit more of a structured role.
I was going to say, and Madeline Pryor.
Yeah, I mean, she is there. So, maybe she becomes, I mean, she's not comms because you've got Psylocke for that. She's not the medic as of yet, but maybe she becomes focused on that, like triage and whatnot.
Pilot?
I know Jason Ozzy says, don't worry about Maddie. I know what's coming, but I meant just from this moment in time, as if I didn't know what was coming in terms of her turning into, whatever, the Goblin Queen, which is a whole other nonsense thing. But but this group, to make them at their best, having her as like their vehicle driver, vehicle operator, I'm down with that. That's cool. And she's already wearing that kind of
flight suit and stuff.
A flight suit of some kind. So I do dig on that. But it's a big team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, David Cutler's here. It's Sunday, Exy Boys. I missed the whole show. Well, David, we did start at 8:15. So, it's really okay. And there's Allie. Look at that. Happy Night on Tuesday, all you awesome nerds. Yeah, we had to do a Sunday night. It just we decided to kind of last minute to sneak attack on this one. We were hoping the Leafs were going to end the series last night, and Tuesday would be free, but Tuesday's going to be busy. So there you go.
I really liked the setup of the X-Men as a tactical unit here. It's like it's all Reavers, and then she comes into the dust storm. And they're like, "What's going on?" And they each start taking out was like, this is great.
Yeah, and I like where it could go. David,
Yeah.
you're right. Obviously, you know, she can give them missions, but that's why you kind of that gets tired fast if she's constantly saying, "I need you to go resolve this."
Right.
But if they have some sort of a way of tracking where there are these kinds of problems that they are now well suited for, they set up some computers and they, you know, some sort of world watch, and they are eliminating these things. It'd be funny, like how long it takes before Shield's like, "Hey, I noticed in the South Pacific, a lot of pirates and things are disappearing. I don't mind, but what's going on over there?" So it is a neat new premise for them for sure. But I wonder again,
and also who's feeding them the intel that there are these things,
right?
You know,
and they're just randomly shoving people through the Siege Perilous.
They're just like, now it's your turn to go through.
So backtracking to last week's episode where I did, like I said, Marvel Comics Presents 1, 2, and 3. This is now the jumping off point for that series is right now. Each of these characters can go do solo adventures in this part of the world. They have a teleporter in Gateway. They have to forge that relationship, which is going to happen shortly. Spoiler. But each of them can kind of go about. They can do some nesting and create a facility, and they can travel the world to get pieces they want to have on site and make this base their own. And I think they've got all that treasure too, don't they?
All that booty
that they did not earn. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how all that plays out. But they need a jet and maybe a couple Jeeps.
Maybe a fridge.
Yeah, so they've got electricity, I think.
Okay.
And they've got those tank treads.
It's true.
You know what I would use that empty kind of tank tread hole for?
Flower pot. Pooper.
Roving toilet. Yes.
Roving toilet.
And when he comes back, I would let Bonebreaker know that I've been using his lower half as a toilet. Just, you know, tell him how much I love him. Anyway. Uh-oh. Do you see what's happening here?
Yeah.
You go ahead. I want to watch your show, actually. So yeah, I hope you guys start a show. That'd be a beautiful thing. There's room on the internet for all of us. So hopefully it's a good show. Overall, you like this issue?
Yeah.
Lucky. I'm a little on the fence. I like the idea of what it could become, but I don't know if it ever becomes that.
Sure.
So I'm there is definitely some potential, but I love the badass drawing, and I want to make some more Reaver toys. Maybe next week on Saturday when you and I are at Toying Around Toy Con, we can find some figures and
it'd be fun.
Mashing up, making our own Reavers. I need that football helmet, and I need a goofy army helmet.
Yeah.
An old school World War II or Vietnam era army helmet. So we'll see. Anything else you want to talk about before we call it a night?
Well, actually, this Thursday, we're launching a brand new book on Crowdfunder. So Crowdfunder is like a Kickstarter, but it's not Kickstarter. It's called Crowdfunder.
Tell me more about this.
Let me tell you more. Okay, so we're launching our next kind of graphic novel anthology collection of our Peregrines, our 4 Peregrines, kind of standalone adventures that we've put out the last few years. We sold out a bunch of them, so we're putting them together where people get access to them again. And we're going to slap on an ISBN, and that's going to be our product. It's going to be our second big book. So here we go. It's got the Obstacle Course. It's got Londinium. It's got Hunter's Moon. It's got Badlands. And it's got some bonus stuff, some fun things we're going to throw in there as well. And so that launches on Thursday, May 1st, Crowdfunder, and runs the whole month. We'll send a link. We'll make sure you have access to it. Hey, if you want to support, grab a copy. That'd be amazing. We'll also have some exclusive goodies up there too. I know JC got some original art we're going to put up there as well from some Peregrine's pieces that you can pick up. And there you go. That's a fun thing that's happening this week.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to get sort of a second evergreen book out there.
Yeah.
To add to our little ongoing library of adventures. That should be a fun thing to get done. And I'm looking forward since all the comics are done. And we were talking yesterday, they're all out of print. They're not all sold out yet, but they're all out of print. And the idea was like, okay, so we've got them at that single format, which were always meant to be a temporary thing, and get them in that graphic novel format long term. And so I'm glad that we're already there. And we had a successful crowdfunder last time.
We did.
Was it a year ago or was it 2 years ago?
I think it was about a year and a half. Almost a year and a half too. Almost. And that was for the expanded edition, what you just held up there, the Group of 7 and Most You Can Tell, which is the product that we just have our evergreen. It's always at our tables.
Yeah.
And that was great. We actually ended up that one we raised over our amount. I think it was like 108 or 112% of our target, which was so beautiful that people supported us that way.
Just to throw that out there, we're printing it regardless of if the crowdfunding hits the goal or not. We're printing it anyway. But we, of course, it's always a little advantageous if you can cover your print costs going in. So but that's the book's already done. It's getting made, and I'm very much looking forward to getting it out into the world.
Yeah.
Good looking cover.
Great cover.
Good looking cover.
Great cover. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So very exciting for us.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I'm excited for you.
Thanks, pal.
No, I meant you, everyone out there in the world.
Sorry.
All right. And that brings us to the end of another episode of Previously an X-Men. I'd like to thank my good friend and writer of Peregrine's Flights, Fiends, and Fisticuffs.
Triple F. Flights, Fiends, and that's the book title.
That's the new book coming out. Chris Sanigan, thank you for being here tonight with me, Chris.
Thank you.
And thank you for accommodating our fan schedule so we can be the best fans that we can and enjoy a Tuesday night, whether it's stress-free or not. I cannot determine yet, but it should be a fun week regardless. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you on Saturday, May 3rd, this coming Saturday at the Thornton Community Center for the Toying Around Toy Con. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful for all of you for joining us tonight in the chat and watching the show and keeping the comments going. It's really helpful. So please click like on the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with anyone you think would be interested in such content. And we look forward to seeing you again in about a week. We're going to aim for a Tuesday night again down the road. And of course, Free Comic Book Day is on Saturday. It might be the last one. So enjoy it while you can. And regardless of that, support local comic stores. Yeah. It goes a long way to keeping the North American version of the comic book industry moving forward when we support our local shops. So,
and as Ali points out, it's a good weekend for fandom because this Sunday is also May the 4th. So, hey, watch some Andor season 2. That's what I can mean. That's what.
Okay, well, I guess I won't on the show then. I'll just. Have you started the show yet? Have you started?
Yet. It's not yet. I love the first season, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. I'm 2 episodes of the 3 that were already dropped,
okay. Right.
And it feels like it's Andor.
Excellent.
It's so rare in things that I watch where there was a scene where a particular character is dancing.
Okay.
And they're having one of those things where they're like, the character is full of so much emotion, both for their personal safety, their existence, the future. All these feelings are just kind of crashing on them. And they have they're at a big party and they have one of those dance scenes where they dance by themselves, but in a huge crowd. Mm-hmm. And they're expressing so much heavy emotion. It was a really, really beautiful, emotional release, a cathartic dance. I was watching, being like, "Oh, I wish this just lasts forever." You can see the character go through this arc of emotions as they're dancing the troubles away, but the troubles aren't going to go away. So it's really, really beautiful.
No.
Good show. And if you are also a fan of the genre stuff, The Last of Us,
mm-hmm.
a couple episodes have already dropped. I guess the new one's tonight. If you want to talk about that, maybe hit me up on Instagram. I'm happy to chat Last of Us with anybody. It's been on my mind for a couple nights now. Anyway, let's get out of here and go do what we got to do. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time. Everyone out there, stay Xy, bub, and we'll see you next time. Cheers. When Thunderbolts opens this week. Oh my goodness, so much stuff. Bye, everybody. Take care. Thunderbolts. We got to go see Thunderbolts Saturday. I don't know if we can.